Right, hello. I'm going to show you how to make some bird feeders today. So I'm going to make some different types, some pretty simple ones. This is the first one, like a little fruit hanging bird feeder like that. And there's another one as well, which is using an apple, and that's just going to hang like that. So for the first one, what you need is, I'm going to use a lemon, but you can use an orange or a grapefruit or anything similar that you've got to hand. So I've just cut that in half, and like that. Like so. Now, what you've got to do next is, once you've cut it in half, you've got to scoop out all that nice flesh from there. So that comes out. Scoop it out. I'm working onto a piece of kitchen roll, just for the sake of any mess. So that goes out like that. It doesn't matter if you can't get it all out, you can just kind of flatten it down, and when it's empty, the birds will eat that anyway. So what you've got to do next is, I'm using a bradawl, just like a pointy thing, but you can use a palm drill or a hand drill or even like a stick or something. And I'm just going to poke a hole through the side there and through the side there. So put one there and there. Now I'm going to use a little bit of string. That was a bit half. So you can use any string you want. I'm just using some regular garden twine. Using a scalpel to cut it, but I'd use scissors or a knife if you've got one. So what we're going to do is poke the string through the holes, and I'm going to use a little stick to just push it through. So I'm just going to push it through gently because it's quite soft. I'm just going to pull that through. So it's gone through the first hole. Now it's got to go back out through the other hole. So you've just got to locate that. And I'm going to poke it through again, like so. Here we go. So I'm just pulling that through until it goes tight. Now I'm going to just even those out so they're the same length. There we go. So you can see it's kind of going to hang on one side like that. You can see it's just poking through the outside, and then it's holding in on the inside like that. Now, I'm going to do the same again on the other side. So I want the holes to be exactly in line from side to side, so about the same depth down as well. Be working away from my fingers and down towards the wooden surface that I've got there, in case I slip. There we go. Just give it a little wiggle around in there to make the hole a bit bigger. Get some more string. About the same length as before, to accurate. Just chopping that again. The cleaner you can cut the ends, the better it is to, or easier it is to poke it through the hole. So you can do exactly the same as we did before. I'm just going to use the stick to poke it through. Like so. A little bit fiddly. Threading it through again. So in from the outside, and then inside out again, back through the other hole. So that just goes through there again. Not. There we go. So just pulling that through until it's even. So there you have two pieces of string holding the the lemon half or the orange half or whatever you've got. Like that. So next, what you've got to do is take the two ends on one side and tie them together. About an inch and a half down or so from the top. It's going to use like a little reef knot. Just pull that tight. So that's on there. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Same distance down, an inch and a half or thereabouts. Just tie them together. Nice and tight. Pull them tight. There we go. So we've got the same thing again. Now I'm going to take these two ends, one on my left and one on the right hand. I'm just going to tie them together as well. So it's going to hang like that. So I'm just going to tie these together again. Just using the same knot as before. And there you go. It's tied together. And you've still got some excess that you can use to tie over the twig or the branch or whatever you're going to hang it from outside. So just tie like a little loop in there. And then that will just hang on the top. And you can trim off any excess bits as well, just to tidy up a bit. Make it look a bit neater. So there we go. That is our feeder, like that, from the tree. So then what we do is we just take some bird feed and pop it in there. Goes in there. So you can pat that down so you can fit quite a good amount, even though it is only a relatively small one, you can still fit quite a lot in. And then that will just hang from the tree like that, with a fence or whatever else you've got nearby. Another thing you can do is you can take one of your kebab sticks and you can poke it through the bottom from side to side, like so. And then you've got like a little bit that the birds can sit on and use as like a little perch to feed from there. So that goes in there like that. And then they can just sit on here. Okay. Obviously that's a little bit long, but you can trim them off. Make them a little bit shorter, about there. So that's the first design. Now, the second one involves an apple. So I'm just going to get a bit more control. It's always good to keep your workspace clear and clean and tidy. There's a fresh piece there. So just taking a regular apple like that and using a knife to cut it in half, straight down the middle. Working back into that surface again. So there you go, two halves. Now, with the knife that we cut it in half with, I'm just going to carefully cut the section out of the middle. Getting back to the start, and you can just lever that bit out so you can get rid of the core. Left with your apple like that, with a hollowed out center. You can use a spoon as well if you want to take out some more, but that's sufficient. It doesn't have to be that deep. So the next thing to do is to use the bradawl again and poke a hole down through the top. And you've got to keep it fairly straight, as straight as you can and as central as you can, so that it hangs evenly. That looks pretty good. It's coming down from the top, going down to the centre. So I'm just giving it a wiggle to make it a bit bigger. Now, take another length of string, about the same length again, about a foot and a half. Doesn't have to be particularly long. I'll just snip that off. So there we go. There's a piece of string. Now, what you've got to do is thread that through the hole. It's a little bit tricky, so I'll just use the stick again. Just poke that through from the top down. Like that. There we go. So that's pulled through there like that. So you can see it just hangs on the rope. Now, you can either tie a little knot on the end to stop it from pulling through, or you can tie it off to the main string. It's not going to slip. So it's just tied off quickly there. So that will just dangle like that. Now, the next thing to do is get some peanut butter or almond butter or something like that. I'm just going to use some tahini. It's really nice and sticky. I'm just going to scoop some of that out of the jar. You don't need very much, a teaspoonful, depending on the size of your apple. And then that just goes into the middle. It's so sticky it doesn't really come out of the spoon very easily. Just gonna just feed it into the middle of a hollowed out apple. Scoop that in there. You can push that down a little bit as well and spread it around. Okay, let's give that a little white. So let me just take our bird feed. This is just a regular sort of standard mix. Just take a spoonful or so in there, and then you just kind of flatten it down with the spoon, and that will just push in to the peanut butter or whatever you're using. And some of it will fall out when you take it up, but most of it will be held in because it's so sticky. And then that will just hang on there like that. And all those nice seeds will just stay in there. And then when the birds have eaten all of the seeds, and you eat the apple as well. And again, if you want to, you can take one of your kebab sticks and just poke it through the bottom. Like so. Just pushing through carefully. A little bit at a time. And then you can just trim off the excess, and then you've got a little perch there that the birds can sit on whilst they feed. You can just sit on one side or the other. And there we go. That's another design. Now they're quite nice natural ones that you can just leave them out and then the birds will eat everything. But I'm going to show you one other design. Now this is going to use like a plastic bottle. It's pretty simple. There's not much to it, but any size bottle will do. This is quite a big one, but it doesn't have to be that big. So what I'm going to do is start by taking the top off. So I'm just going to put the bottle to one side for the moment. I'm just going to make a little hole again in the top with the bradawl again. So it's a little bit tougher. So I'm just going to fill it one start off with and just push down gently, making sure I've got a hard surface I'm pushing into, and you can see it just It's gone into the center of the cap. So just wiggle it around to make it a bit bigger. Make sure your fingers are out of the way all the time. There we go. Again, I'm going to take another piece of strip. So long, maybe about the same length as before. Just snip that off. Now that is going to go down through the hole that we've just made. So you can either use the stick to poke it down through, or you can use the bradawl to push that down. It might take a little while to get it to go through because it's quite tough material. Eventually it will push through. I'm just going to use the bradawl to just lever it out from the other side. Just making sure you're not going to break your fingers if you slip. Okay. Just going to pull that through a little bit. So there we have the cap on the string. So the underside of the cap, I'm just going to put a couple of knots in there, nice big knots, just to stop it from pulling through. The more knots you put in, the better, the bigger the knot will be. Something like that. So just pull that through, and you'll see it will just hang, like so, like a clunker. Now, the next thing to do is to take your bradawl again. We're just going to put like a little hole in the bottom. Really carefully. So just big enough to poke our stick through. And if you don't have a kebab stick, it doesn't matter. You can use like a wooden spoon, or you can use like a lolly stick, or you can use a twig from the garden. You can use some dowel, or any sort of round wood that you've got. Just going to put another hole in the exact opposite side. Just going to do the same again. Just poke the stick through there, so that goes all the way through, and then just trying to align it with the hole we made on the inside. So there we go, we've kind of got our stick that goes through the centre, and we want to leave a couple of inches either side. That's a little bit long, so I'll just so there we go, we've got a little perch again that the birds can sit on. And you can do another one going the other way as well, so that you can have more birds on there. Same again, hole on one side, on the opposite side. Like that. And then stick going through there. So sometimes it's difficult because you've pushed it through from the outside, so it's a little bit tricky. There we go. So we've got our two sticks in on the bottom, like that, for the birds to sit on. And then we've got our cap ready to screw on. Now, this is the fun bit, you can put lots of holes in into the body of the bottle. Just being careful. You can make these a little bit bigger as well, and the birds will be able to put their beaks in there, and you can use a bigger knife to just twist around in the hole to make it a little bit bigger. So you can see, hopefully you can see that's quite a bit bigger. The birds will be able to get the beaks in there. You can you want. Making sure you get rid of any loose bits. Put them to one side. Recycle them. So I'm going to make a series of holes in all the way around. You can put in as many as you want, really. This is quite good because it's relatively squirrel proof within reason. So it will only be the birds that get to eat from it, hopefully. So you're going to go around and put lots and lots of different little holes in at different heights, and then the birds will just sit on the sticks and feed or hover and take their beaks through there. And then all you need to do is get some more seed and fill your feeder up from the top. It just goes in there. You can use like a funnel or just roll up a piece of paper and just tip it through there to speed it up a bit. But once you've got it full up, then just take your cap with the string on, and then that just twists on the top, twists back on. So that's in there, and you put your sticks on the bottom. And this is nice and full of bird seed now, and then you can just tie a little loop in the end, and then find a nice little tree in your garden to hang it on, and then that will just hang there, full of nice seed for the birds, and they will have a very good feeding device there because you can get a lot of seed in there. It won't have to be refilled very often. And then once you've finished with it, you can take it apart and then just recycle it like you would normally. So there we go. That's 3 different designs, and you can vary them. You can sort of decorate the bottle a bit more. You can paint it. You can stick pretty things on it. You can stick colour paper or whatever you want. The birds will still come and feed from it. And there we go.